There was nothing to alarm her. There was nothing to get her worried. When I left the house, my laptop was turned off, room was dark. I just put her to bed. It was like after 9. um so I'm not thinking anything of it. uh, I've kept all my conversations very discreet. I've always just, I prefer to text, you know. I never left her alone. I never had like random people in the house with her. So I took all the necessary precautions. So she brings it upon herself to get up out of bed, go through my laptop, and I didn't close a tab. And so she saw my Pornhub page. And she was like scrolling, and she found out, well, obviously, that her mom does porn at least. And so I am out with my friends, and I get a Facebook message, and I look at it, and I'm thinking it's her, like maybe asking to bring back like dessert or something. Maybe she went to go pee in the, in the middle of the night. Well, not middle, it's probably like 10 p.m. now. I just don't want to make it sound like, oh, it was 3 a.m. Like it wasn't really that late. Like, yeah, she has a bedtime, but like kids stay up past their bedtime all the time, so it's like my dad was alive, and my dad was in the living room, 9 out of 10 sleeping himself. So like I left the house under the impression that my dad and daughter were asleep, and all devices and everything was off. Like that's how I left the house, right? So it was like my time, right? My time to go out with my friends. So I'm hanging out with them, and I get this message, and I look, and I'm like, and I, at least on my end, I don't have a copy of the message because I would be more than happy to share it. I read it, had my friend read it, and we dropped off the brothers. They had to go to work the next morning, and we went to Denny's, and we were talking about this, right? And I knew the day was gonna come. This is not like a surprise. Me being a sugar baby, and me doing escorting, me anything hasn't been a secret. But at the same time, you don't just tell your kids this shit. Like it's not for kids to know type of thing. It's like, okay, well, when they find out, then they'll come to you, and then you have that conversation. It's like you'll cross the bridge when you get to it. And so I was at that fucking bridge, right? And so the message basically was like, Mom, I don't understand why you're doing these things when you work. So I would like to answer everyone's question, why not get a job? I had a job. I've always had a job. I've always had a job. I've always had a hustle. I've went to school. Like I've done the things. Life is just expensive. One, this is a source of income, and it's quite easy. It's quite natural. Well, at least it was quite easy and natural for me to get into it, because, and I've stated in my other videos how I can go out with a guy and have true intentions of really getting to know him, and all he wanted to do was have sex with me. And it's just like, instead of wasting my time, $200, like, what the fuck? And it was more of, Mom, I don't understand why you're doing this. You work. Why would you put yourself in that situation? You're like, it's very dangerous, like I'm scared. Like I want you safe. But basically what the message was, right? And so me and my ex-best friend are talking about it in Denny's, and there's a couple like sitting like in another booth like next to us. And this is surprising information, so we're not just like chit-chatting. Like, you could fucking hear us. We're full-blown shocked, like oh my God. And of course, we both love her. So we're like, what's the best way to go about this, right? And so I'm reading it, and it's not of like my daughter's concern is safety, right? And me, I was like, what motivated you? And that is still a question. My daughter now is 15. Well, she'll be 15 in a few months, so 15. And this happened when she was in elementary school, so this is, you know, years later that I'm talking about this. What the fuck motivated you to go through my shit? Like, that's like what am I missing, right? She's told me something like, well, sometimes you leave at night, you know, and I just I don't know what you're doing. It's just not your fucking business. Like, are you taken care of? Are you safe? Like, yeah, you're in the house with grandpa. You showered, you ate, you're watching TV. You know, we usually watched a movie before she went to sleep. Like, what is the issue here? Like, I still don't fucking get it. Like, she was just being fucking nosy. So anyway, I get home and I'm like, now it's more like closer to 11:30 midnight. Like, let's just give you like a time frame, right? So I'm like, I come in and I don't like yell at her for being on my computer or anything like that. I go in and I said, hey, I read your message and I didn't respond because I was out with my like, she saw me go out with these people, like, you know, like I left with them. So you're just worried about my safety, right? Because this is work, like this is an income, this is something that I do for money, right? Like, and I was like naming like the places we've gone, the things we've done, you know, the things that I'm able to buy her, and like, you know, this and that. And she was just like, I don't want anything now. Like, I don't want you doing that. Like, I don't care. And I was just like, you say that, and you might mean it in the deep of your heart, but that is not your say. Unfortunately, you're worried about my safety, and that's correct. It's very risky. You know, sometimes I meet people and they don't have the best intent, you know, and viewers, there's a couple of YouTube stories, and I talk about those experiences. I'm very honest, I'm very transparent. I'm not, you know, naive or delusional, and I've had bad experiences. You don't get into this with all the glitz and glamour and luxury. Like, even people with the best experiences, and I'm saying the ones who are like multimillionaires, they have their stories, you know. So, but once again, is not it wasn't age appropriate, and now we just haven't had that conversation. Like, it just hasn't been a thing. She understands that it is a way to make money as an adult. Like, don't be doing that shit as a fucking kid, because there's no reason to do it. Like realistically, it is a fucking option, and it's because it's unrealistic for me to tell her that it's not an option. Like, genuinely, it is an option. Like, if you feel comfortable stripping, cam girling, being a cam girl, being a sugar baby, if you yourself are like, I'm okay to do this is actually something that I'm interested in, something that I want to do, then do it, right? The problem becomes when someone is forcing you to do so. That's the fucking problem. That's what needs to be controlled, and people need to go to prison, and people need to be held accountable for that shit. If you are in the adult entertainment business, it should be 100% your free will, and you are an adult. If you are doing anything sex work and you're not minimum 18, then you need to tell authorities, because someone is someone is supposed to take care of you, where you're not supposed to be trying to figure this shit out. You're if you are not an adult, you're supposed to be taken care of. So, but as an adult, this is a way to live, and we sexualize women. Everyone knows about OnlyFans. Everyone knows about Pornhub. Like, it's not a secret. So let's just understand that. So now my daughter is turning 15, and I guess I'm not gonna say we guess. We have a OneDrive account connected to each other, right? And OneDrive is what, Microsoft, I think it is, and it syncs your videos and your pictures from your phone to that account, right? And so when you, like, if you destroy your phone, or if you factory reset your phone, or whatever happens to your phone, you still have the videos and the pictures, somewhere else, right? And so I'm looking, and I see that there's like pictures of my daughter, right? And I'm like, what the fuck is this? And it's from her desktop. She has a camera on her desktop that she uses for Zoom and for school and whatnot. So the whatnot, like, I'm seeing pictures of like she's gaming, but the camera is directed to her chest, and there's a picture of her, and she's like this. She's like this. So it's intentional. It's not, because you could have easily made it for the face. And so I see this, I screenshot it, I send it to her, and I say, how am I seeing this? That's my question. I'm like, oh, okay, I'm not sure verbatim if that's exactly what I asked, but I'm like, how am I seeing this, right? And she goes, LOL, well, I'll put exactly what she says here. So I go back into the account. I changed the password because I don't want to fucking see that shit, right? And then a little bit later, I post a picture of her as a child on Instagram, right? It was one of those things like, post a pic of if you have a pretty daughter, like, so something like that on Instagram, right? So I put an old picture of her. She was like at the beach in Texas, right? And she messages me back regarding that, and she says, ew, you always choose the wrong pictures. So then I commented, and well, I'm gonna, like, here's a conversation. So basically I'm like, oh, I should just show them a picture of your chest, right? To kind of like poke at her, right? And she says, from a whole porn star, how ironic. Little girl, I was 19 when I ever had my first nude. I was living on my own, 100% taking care of myself. I was 19. I was an adult. In every sense of the word. Like, I was registered to vote. I had my own place. Like, paid my own bills. Like, I wasn't even on the family plan. Like, like, girl. Like, and then, like, I had the question, like, who are, like, you, like, I was about to ask, like, who are you sending this to, like, and she wrote something, and I was just like, you're a child, it's illegal, like I am legally, like, responsible, like, for you. And like, and she told me that she just takes pictures of herself, and it's like, okay, you're right, I don't have any, just don't send that shit to no one. You are underage. It is child pornography. Like, don't fucking do that. Like, and I was like, okay, like, if you're just taking pictures of yourself, then That's cool. If it's for you, for yourself, you're not sending it to anyone. Okay, cool. Do I fully believe that? I don't really have a reason not to believe her. And just the way my daughter thinks, and just like how she's seen me be with men, and just like the aftermath of like being bedridden for like 3 days because I got dumped, she's really like learned to like really keep herself to herself. And I don't think that's a bad quality at all, especially at 15. And if she wants to take pictures of herself, then take pictures of yourself. Like, okay. So people were like, oh, well, what are you gonna do if well, this is what the fuck I did. So if you are a mom and you do sex work, I'm actually gonna leave the comments. I might not. I don't like keeping the comments open. But I don't know. I'm just like, tag me. Yeah, do that. If you are a mom and you do sex work, tag me if you've ever experienced this. Like, how did you handle it? Because let's not all be surprised that even if you are not a mom yet, right? Even if you have no kids yet, and like, because the internet is forever. So like they find an old picture, or they are scrolling and they see you, how are you going to have that conversation? I'm really interested to see that response, because I'm honestly like really proud of myself. I'm really impressed of like how I handled it. I was very like I've never been ashamed of anything that I've done. I feel like it's the oldest fucking profession, and it needs to be fucking legalized. Like the fact that it's so stigmatized, that's a fucking issue. The fact that there's people kidnapping, raping, human trafficking, that's a fucking problem. Like I said before, if you are an adult and you have free will, you're an adult, you have free will, and that is what you choose to do, then, all for it. That's great. But anything when you are not an adult, someone needs to be fucking punished, because you shouldn't have to be worried about fucking surviving. Someone should be taking care of you. All right, that's what I gotta say. Thank you for listening. Bye.